Please join us in the invocation presented by Councilman Vaughn, followed by the pledge to the American and Texas flags by Councilman Tierney.
Please stand and join me in a moment of silent prayer. Thank you very much.
Face the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Until we're divided.
Mayor's got a button though, doesn't he?
I don't know.
First up on the agenda tonight, we have a public hearing, which is a consideration of an ordinance for a zone change request from local commercial to medical district on 1.35 acres located at 301 North Garden Ridge Boulevard, further identified as a portion of Garden Ridge Church of Christ Addition Lot 2A, Block B, as requested by William Tabor on behalf of the property owner, Tidal Wave Limited. The 1.35 acre property is located at 301 North Garden Ridge Boulevard and consists of a closed car wash facility. The zone change request is from local commercial to medical district, is to allow a new assisted living facility to replace the existing car wash. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the zoning request by a vote of 5-0 at their October 7th, 2014 meeting. Recommendation that the City Council approve the proposed ordinance as set forth in the caption above. Ms. Renicky, do we have any presentation here, or are you good with?
I don't have anything to add. If council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer questions. The applicant is also here if you have any questions.
All right. And I have comment cards filled out by Mr. John Shanklin with Tidal Wave Limited. He is here to answer questions, but not to speak. And also Mr. Doug Weaver, who is in support from G&A Consultants. They are both here to answer questions. Councilman Tierney?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And where are we? I always mess these up, guys. Bear with me. So move to approve.
Moved.
All right. Councilman Tierney, thank you.
Second.
And a second by our councilman. So now you get to read, right?
Right.
Okay, I got that part down.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lewisville, Texas, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Lewisville, Texas by rezoning Lot 2A, Block B of the Garden Ridge Church of Christ Addition, containing approximately 1.35 acres of land from local commercial district zoning to medical district zoning, correcting the official zoning map, preserving all other portions of the zoning ordinance, providing a clause relating to severability, determining that the public interest and general welfare demand the zoning change and amendment therein made, providing a penalty, and declaring an emergency.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Next up is the Visitor Citizens Forum. At this time, any person with business before the council not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the council. No formal action can be taken on these items. I have a request for comment from Mr. John Garena regarding the Young Heroes of the Guard.
Council members here in the audience and to the citizens at home listening to this. It's that time of year again where I want to come to you to talk about the Young Heroes of the Guard. This is the Texas State Guard toy drive. Christmas should not be a time of fear, anxiety, distress, and pain. Unfortunately, for hundreds of children in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the only home they will know this Christmas is a hospital room, and for some of them, the only family they will see are the medical staff who care for them. For their parents, this is a time of fear, struggle, even dread. Some have no money left for presents or a tree. The medical bills have already taken all their savings and aren't letting up anytime soon. Some don't even know if this will be the last Christmas that they're able to spend with their son or daughter. All of these parents are desperately looking for a glimmer of hope and comfort for their children. These are children, perhaps a few days old up to teenagers, looking for the day they can go home, perhaps clinging to life, their families not knowing that they'll ever come home or someday or may not even be around for Christmas. We may not be able to help ill children or their parents heal, but we may be able to assure them that there will be brighter days ahead. When a child's laugh won't cause them to cry, but for one moment at least, we can perhaps bring a smile and a reprieve from all that overwhelms them. Christmas should be a joyful and laughter-filled time for a child, and that has been the inspiration behind the Texas State Guard's Young Heroes of the Guard Toy Drive. Since 2009, the Texas State Guard's Christmas Toy Drive seeks to bring a smile and maybe a laugh or two to the faces of these precious children. This is a statewide program. This is different than Toys for Tots, which is a nationwide program by the Marines. This is Texas-wide from the Texas State Guard, one of the 3 military forces of Texas, which include the Texas Air National Guard, the Texas Army National Guard, and of course the Texas State Guard, and we're the Civil Affairs Division. About the toys must be new. Due to hygiene, hospitals cannot accept used toys. Toys must be unwrapped so they can be distributed properly. Now, in Louisville, we have currently 2 locations for drop-off. One is at our fantastic, lovely library that we have in town, and they have great hours, so anybody can get over there and drop off toys. And we also have the Louisville Garden Ridge Church of Christ. And as soon as they get the paperwork and everything ready, the Schlotskys should be having locations also. Now, this is statewide, so if you're watching this and aren't in the Louisville area, there are other areas, and the place to go is txsgtoydrive.org, which is the Texas State Guard Toy Drive main site. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John.
I don't have any other comments for the Visitor Citizens Forum, so we will move ahead to the consent agenda. All of the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be self-explanatory by the council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so request. For a citizen to request removal of an item, a speaker card must be filled out and submitted to the city secretary. I did not have any items on the consent agenda be requested to be removed, so I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve this consent agenda.
Approved by Ferguson, second by Durham. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Regular hearings. We have a tabled item, which is a consideration of 2 variance requests to the Louisville City Code, Section 9.5-211H, signs requiring a permit, and Section 9.5-207B, sign requirements, lighting for the Medical Center of Louisville, located at 500 West Main Street, as requested by James G. Russell, Chief Operating Officer, Medical Center of Louisville. The Medical Center of Louisville, MCL, has a large campus located in Old Town with numerous buildings. Being in Old Town restricts both the number, size, type, and illumination methods of signage allowed versus other parts of the city. 2 requests are proposed, including A, to allow internal illumination of the Medical Center of Louisville sign, and B, to consider an appeal of the OTDRC action denying the request for the Solus mammography sign, both in size, style, and internal illumination. The OTDRC granted a size modification for the Medical Center of Louisville sign and cross and recommended approval of the internal illumination for this sign. However, the OTDRC denied the Solus mammography sign both in size, style, and illumination at their September 8th, 2014 meeting. The City Council tabled this item at their meeting on October 20th, 2014, pending a redesign of the Solus mammography sign. The Solus mammography sign has been redesigned to have the same white color as the MCL sign, but the size remains the same. The OTDRC at their meeting on November 10th, 2014, recommended approval of both signs with channel halo lighting instead of internal illumination LED lighting. Recommendation that the City Council consider the signs for the Medical Center of Louisville with the condition of channel halo lighting instead of internal illumination LED lighting. I will take any comments from our Director of Economic Development.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, I just want to give a very brief history of signage at Medical Center of Louisville and some of these variances that keep coming up. And also Mr. Russell is here to give their perspective. We do have an agreement between or a recommendation for approval from the Old Town Development Review Committee. That's why I just want to be very brief in terms of the reason that these signs keep going back and forth between Old Town DRC and the council. Illumination is extremely important for Old Town character. So in order to create that Old Town look and the turn of the century look, the illumination in the ordinance primarily requires a projected light basically on the building, not internal illumination, because that was not in place in the 1920s or turn of the century. That's why neon lighting is allowed in the ordinance, because neon was an approved lighting form at the time, but the internal illumination that we have right now is not an allowed form. Now, taking that into consideration, Old Town Development Review Committee understands that this is a very unique use, very unique campus. We are not going to have many of these uses in Old Town. The sign ordinance is primarily targeted towards smaller uses. So anytime they look at this use or very similar use to this, they will take under consideration that it's a large building and it has very special needs for signage. So with that, they did really look at the redesigned sign. They want the signage to be very compatible and also to be consistent. So having the white lettering and having the channel halo lighting makes the sign more consistent. It makes it more compatible with Old Town. So the Old Town Design Review Committee actually recommended the size of it, which is a lot larger than our normal required sign in the ordinance. So the required signage is 20 square feet, again, because it's targeted towards smaller buildings and smaller uses. This is about over 140 square feet, but it's okay for this size of a building and the type of usage that we have. So with that, I think everyone is in agreement, and they recommended approval of the signage at this time. Again, Mr. Russell is here, and I'd be happy to answer more questions or if you have any concerns about the signage.
Council, any comments?
Just, I'm very happy to see this. There's a tendency to say this is a great compromise. I don't see it as a compromise implies somebody gave up something. I think what we got is that both parties have a win-win. It's aesthetically very attractive, very fitting with what's there at the building, and still very suited, particularly in that area of Old Town. So I'm just very delighted with the outcome on this.
I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve per the caption and the recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Councilman Durham and a second by Councilman Ferguson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Appreciate you working with the Old Town area.
No problem.
Item 6.
Job done.
Consideration of an ordinance amending the Louisville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10, Article 3, Section 10-72, possession of glass containers. The current ordinance prohibits the use or possession of glass containers customarily used to transport liquids in Louisville public parks. During a workshop held on October 20th, council directed staff to prepare an amendment to the ordinance that would allow glass containers to be used during permitted events at Old Town Park Plaza. Recommendation that the City Council approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption above. I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve?
Second?
I have an move to approve by Councilman Tierney and a second by Councilman Durham. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, I have to read the
Oh,
caption.
there it is, right there. City Attorney. I should have read that part.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, amending Chapter 10, Article 3, Section 10-72, possession of glass containers of the Louisville City Code by providing for an exception for permitted events on the premises of the Old Town Park Plaza, providing for a repealer, providing for severability, providing a penalty, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item 7, consideration of an ordinance amending the Louisville City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 8, Section 2-201, Fee Schedule. Rules and regulations, including fees regarding the Old Town Park Plaza, were discussed by the City Council during the October 20th, 2014 City Council workshop. Approval of this ordinance will implement the fees discussed. The recommendation, City Council approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption above. I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Approved by Councilman Tierney, second by Councilman Durham.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, amending the Louisville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Section 2-201, fee schedule with various fees charged by several departments of the city, providing a repealer, providing for severability, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right. Item 8, consideration of an ordinance approving the 2014 Annual Assessment Service Plan updates for the Louisville-Castle Hills Public Improvement District, or PID number 1. Administrative comments. The City Council created Louisville-Castle Hills Public Improvement District number 1 in 1996. An assessment service plan was adopted for PID number 1 on August 5th, 1996. Chapter 372 of the Texas Local Government Code requires that an assessment service plan be updated for the purpose of determining the annual budget for improvements. The plan defines the annual indebtedness and the projected costs of the improvements to be provided by a PID and the manner of assessing the property in the PID for the costs of the improvements. Recommendation that the City Council approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption above. I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the caption as stated.
Second.
All right. Motion by Councilman Vaughn, second by Councilman Ferguson.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, updating the assessment service plan and assessment role for Castle Hills Public Improvement District, providing a repealer, providing for severability, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, consideration of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $4,600,000 City of Louisville, Texas combined contract revenue and special assessment refunding bonds, Series 2015, in accordance with the terms of the Second Supplemental Trust Agreement, authorizing the defeasance and refunding of $5,365,000 of the outstanding City of Louisville, Texas combination contract revenue and special assessment refunding and capital improvement bonds, Series 1998, approving and authorizing the execution of a first supplemental trust agreement and second supplemental trust agreement, authorizing a final offering statement pertaining to the issuance of the Series 2015 refunding bonds, delegating authority to authorized officials to finalize certain sale terms relating to the Series 2015 refunding bonds, finalize an escrow agreement, and finalize a bond purchase agreement, providing an effective date and containing other matters related to the Series 2015 refunding bonds. Denton County Freshwater Supply District number 1B has requested the city to authorize and approve the issuance of up to $4.6 million of said bonds above for the purpose of refunding and defeasing a portion of the 1998 bonds and to pay the cost of issuance of the bonds. Recommendation is that the City Council consider the ordinances set forth in the caption above. Any comments?
Move to approve.
Second.
Approved by Councilman Durham, second by Councilman Tierney.
This is an ordinance authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $4,600,000 City of Louisville, Texas combination contract revenue and special assessment refunding bond, Series 2015, in accordance with the terms of a second supplemental trust agreement, authorizing the defeasance and refunding of $5,365,000 of the outstanding City of Louisville, Texas combination contract revenue and special assessment refunding and capital improvement bond, Series 1998, approving and authorizing the execution of a first supplemental trust agreement and second supplemental trust agreement, authorizing a final offering statement pertaining to the issuance of the Series 2015 refunding bonds, delegating authority to authorized officials to finalize certain sale terms relating to the Series 2015 refunding bonds, finalize an escrow agreement, and finalize a bond purchase agreement, providing an effective date and containing other matters related to the Series 2015 refunding bonds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, consideration of the adoption of the I-35 Corridor Redevelopment Plan. The city has been working on the I-35 redevelopment plan since 2010. This plan sets criteria, strategies, and best development practices for redevelopment along the corridor. An I-35 Plan Advisory Committee was appointed in 2010, held numerous public meetings, and recommended approval of their plan at their meeting on June 24, 2014. This item was reviewed at the November 3, 2014 Council Workshop. Recommendation that the City Council adopt the I-35 Corridor Redevelopment Plan. I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the plan as stated in the caption above.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Vaughn, second by Councilman Ferguson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, consideration of renaming the Old Town Plaza to Wayne Ferguson Plaza as requested by Councilman Tierney. I have a few speaker comment cards filled out for that. Just wanted to give folks a heads up. While we were in workshop, I did not notice any real dissent from any of the councilmen. Just kind of put that in your hip pocket for those of you who are here to comment tonight. I have Mr. Kent Ellis Jr. here in support. Mr. Ellis?
Yes, sir.
You are welcome to take your time, sir.
Howdy.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Not a problem. I'm Kent Ellis Jr. I live at 337 Legends Drive, right down the street in Old Town. Some of y'all know me, and for those of y'all who don't, one thing that you probably don't know about me is that Wayne Ferguson was my godfather. Now, him being my godfather, one of the things that he impressed upon me the most was that he would give a quiet help. And some of y'all may have experienced this before. In fact, there was a time for me personally where I needed some help, and not only did he help me, but he did it in effect a way that he didn't want anyone to know that he had done it. That always kind of struck me as important to his character. As far as our city goes, his fingerprints are on everything from Vista Ridge to the 121 bypass, Medical Center of Louisville. Just keep trucking down the road. Grand Theater, the Old Town, Main Street, Denton County Transit Authority. We can make a U-turn there and come back to City Hall, and even some other things that are being worked on today, even these years later. So his service as a mayor and as a councilman as well as an advisor, I think there are probably very few cities that have someone like that and that have done something like that for their city. Now, his vision, of course, for Old Town, mentioning some of these things we just talked about, I'm sure you're all aware of it. It was enough to make me buy in and move right on down here shortly after college. My ideas for California went out the window, and I came back home and put down roots where Wayne Ferguson talked me into. The big thing for me is this plaza. I see it as an opportunity for us to not only honor a citizen that we have, but also create inspiration for the rest of our citizens. Something like this is what we want all of our citizens to aspire to, what we hope for all of our citizens to step up and be. So I think having that opportunity is very important, that we go forward and name it after Wayne. Of course, now I'm a father and I have a son. The idea of being able to take my son up there to that plaza and be able to tell him about Wayne Ferguson, my godfather, what he did for this city and the type of man he was, is very important to me as a person. And I really think it's probably important to a lot of our citizens here that know him. So tonight I call on all of you and ask you to please name our plaza Wayne Ferguson Plaza. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. I also have comments from Ms. Sharon Ellis. Name and address for the record.
Sharon Ellis, and I'm at 340 West Walters, just around the corner. And I think my son put it beautifully. And the only thing that I would add, that I was in part of the charrette that went on, and for many months we planned and had public meetings and with staff, and during all that time, it was talked about and printed, the Wayne Ferguson Plaza. And I know that you all have seen the plans that you, of course, accepted in 2010, and the very front cover is the wall that faces the Grand Theater, and on there it says Wayne Ferguson Plaza. I think it's a real opportunity, again, for us to honor someone that was a visionary for us, and that we continue to try to put forth some of the ideas that he left with us. But it encourages our citizens to step forward and see a vision also, and know that the city will recognize their strengths also. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis. Also here in support but not wishing to speak are Mayor Gene Carey.
I'll speak if needed, but I don't think I need to.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jack Ramsey, Ms. Beth Ramsey, Ms. Elaine Emery, Mr. Charles Emery, Mr. Kent Ellis, and Mr. John Guarena, all in favor of this.
We got one more.
I think you have Commissioner Mitchell.
One more time? Oh, Bob.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Ms. Mitchell, are you sure you don't want time? I'm more than happy to give it to you. And Mayor Bobby Mitchell. I know you're county commissioner, but you're mayor too. With that, any other comments? I have one brief one. When I moved to this city, I started coming to city council meetings in between having 3 very, very small children. And I sat right about the 4th seat in. And I'd put in some forms and signed in for a couple of different committees and whatnot. And nothing really happened. It just kind of sat there. So I leaned over, because I'd seen this guy in a cowboy hat multiple times. He was sitting next to me. I leaned over and said, "You happen to know how I can get involved?" And Mr. Ferguson said, "You know what, I'll talk to a couple people. Let me see what I can do." I didn't know him from Adam. But that is my first impression, the first time I ever talked and met the man. So I'd be highly honored to have the opportunity to name this plaza after him. And with that, I'll take a motion unless there's somebody with a comment.
Just a quick comment, and I'm saying something mainly to folks perhaps who haven't been here as long, but you would have to go back probably to Mr. Lewis and the foundation of Louisville to find anybody that's left a more indelible mark on this city, economically, developmentally, strategically. Wayne certainly will have a lasting impact on Louisville. I think always will be there, and I think putting his name right across from City Hall is absolutely the right thing to do.
Mr. Tierney, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, and just a quick comment. First off, I think everybody's aware that we currently do have a Wayne Ferguson Plaza. That the city, I think it was in 2006, the city council at that time had named the plaza directly in front of us, heading south, which is that small area, the plaza between Bridal Boutique and Subway. And I guess as we were going through the charrette that Mrs. Ellis had mentioned in 2009, and all the information that was in that packet, it was always listed in the signage, and it was referred to, the entire plaza project was always referred to as the Wayne Ferguson Plaza. So I guess it was kind of, everybody kind of assumed that that's the direction that we were heading. But I guess it was just kind of neglected. We never actually took the steps to officially name the big plaza project the Wayne Ferguson Plaza. And actually, it does take council action to do so, similar to the Railroad Street Park naming. So what we're going to do tonight is name the entire Plaza Park project the Wayne Ferguson Plaza. Rightfully so. I think Kenny said it best. Just an honor to his legacy and everything that he did for this community. I think it's perfectly fitting to have the entire Plaza Park project named Wayne Ferguson Plaza. With that, I will move to approve
Second.
the naming rights, the name of the Plaza Park project to the Wayne Ferguson Plaza.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilman Turney and a second by Councilman Vaughn, and I'm sure if we could have a third, fourth, and fifth, we would do that as well. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And we'll make sure we have a beautiful ribbon cutting when the time comes to honor him. All right, with that, I will move into reports. Nika? Bob? Chief? Nothing? It's quiet out there. You got nothing? Anything on the lake? I know the mayor would want to know how the lake was doing.
We actually, even though we got rain, it's just all been absorbed. So hopefully we'll get more this winter to actually put more than 2/10 of an inch in the lake. So, but on a good note, we do have a little more update on our creek cleaning and right-of-way cleaning project. We are finishing up. We're probably about 70% complete with the 3040 121 area, and we'll finish that up, and then we're really thinking the week after Thanksgiving we'll get into the creeks and start moving forward there. But the guys are really getting into it, and we actually had to tell them we don't need them to look like a golf course, so don't take quite so much time. But they're thoroughly enjoying this, and which was, I'm not saying it was a surprise to us, but they really took hold of this and took ownership of it. So I think you're going to be pleased with the results.
That's great. That's great. Anything? Moving on? No? Mr. Ferris? Mr. Backus? All right. Councilman Durham?
Nothing, Council.
Councilman Attorney? No? City Manager?
No, sir.
No? Councilman Ferguson?
We have an MCL report, but I'm going to have to turn that over to Mr. Kunke.
Pressure, pressure.
I tried psychically thinking it to you, but that didn't work. Two upcoming events that are particularly noteworthy. Coming up this weekend, we have the first of our new stand-up comedy series at MCL Grand. It will feature comedian Dan Natterman, who is, if you watch comedy on TV, you've seen him. He was on Last Comic Standing. He's been on Tonight Show 4 times, Letterman, half a dozen other shows. Those tickets are on sale, and it's a great act. If you like comedy, you'll like this one. And also this weekend, we have 2 shows from the North Central Texas College Theater Department. The first time they've come in our building, they're now moving all of this is from the Flower Mound campus. They're moving to MCL Grand for their shows. And I wish I could remember the name of it. But I do recall that it is a one-act show based on World War I. And it is supposed to be a very thought-provoking social commentary with a bit of humor mixed in. So a good weekend coming up, then we're going to take some time off for Thanksgiving, and then we're going to fire things up in December. One additional note for you, we're trying to launch a new exhibit in the art gallery, focusing on World War II. And we've got a collection of newspaper front pages from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram during those years with the highlights or lowlights, or I guess the momentous events of World War II. And we have a few artifacts also. The VFW post here in town is providing a couple of artifacts to go on display. We're giving the opportunity for residents in Louisville to submit photos of their family members who were in World War II, or to artifacts they might want to put on display, anything to show that World War II, while it was fought in the Pacific and fought in Europe, definitely had an impact on the home front here in Louisville, Texas. If anyone has an interest in doing that, they can call the Art Center at 972-219-8446.
Thank you.
Councilman Vaughn?
No, sir.
Officer, thank you so much for being here again tonight. We really appreciate it. Keeps me in line, so that's always a good thing. I would also like to mention that one of my favorite things that we do as a city is coming up, and it'll be starting around December 8th, but we should start hearing fire trucks roaming through the city. Santa will be starting his tours around December 8th, and it'll be in the evening, so you want to keep an ear peeled for that. And if you are on social media, I have a feeling there are going to be all sorts of Santa sightings reported on the city webpage, and as well as the city Facebook pages that are out there where the community gathers. So look forward to that, and make sure you stand out and wave to our great fire department and Santa as he comes through town. With that, I'm going to move into closed session in accordance with Texas Government Code Subchapter D, Section 551071, consultation with attorney pending litigation, City of Louisville versus City of Farmers Branch and Camelot Landfill, Texas, LP, cause number 412 CV-00782, United States District Court for the Eastern District of Texas, Sherman Division, Texas Commission on Environmental Quality Modifications to Municipal Solid Waste Permit Number 1312A, and Texas Commission on Environmental Quality application to obtain Municipal Solid Waste Permit Amendment, Permit 1312B. Also, Section 551072, Real Estate Property Acquisition, and Section 551087, Economic Development Deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. We'll be back.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Any action to be taken?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
I have a move to adjourn by Councilman Ferguson, second by Councilman Vaughn. Adjourned. Oh, yeah, there we go. We can all vote for it. Who's against it? There we go.